Farm Animals, Diary for Kids about a Donkey and His Friends, Adventure Stories for Kids. Written by Jeff Child, narrated by John H. Feskins. Introduction. Dirk the donkey and his 3 friends get caught up in a storm. They escape from the farm and head to a new and exciting house. Finally, they get to be inside. What they don't realize, however, is that the house is haunted. Moreover, none of them know what lies underneath the soil where all the animal cadavers are buried. Will they make it back to the farm in one piece? Don't wait and start listening to this Diary of a Donkey. Chapter 1. Heavy Storm. "Let's go, let's go, let's go!" I shouted. "What are you waiting for?" My 3 friends followed me as closely as they could, but they were still slower. "Wait up!" Cassie the cow shouted. Silver the sheep and Peggy the pig were right behind her. They were doing everything in their power to keep up with me. By the way, my name is Dirk, and I am a donkey. I am writing this to let the world know what exactly happened to us when we were out and about. The 4 of us crawled underneath the barbed wire fence. The pig had the hardest time with it since she was so fat. We stood on another field. There was grass all around us. I looked at the sky and noticed the dark, thick clouds gathering and ready to pour out everything they had on us, making the night even more obscure than it already was. "Let's go!" I yelled again. "We have to be quick. The house is over there." Peggy tripped for a second, and we helped her up. I sometimes wondered afterwards if she was dragging us down the most. We kept running and came closer to the giant house. It was a mansion. It was humongous. "Wow," I said in a moment of disbelief. "This is a beautiful home. Who lives in a home like this? Whatever they do for a living, that's what I want to do." "You can't make a living, silly," Cassie said. "You're a donkey. You get to carry stuff and eat all day. Doesn't sound that bad, does it?" "Oh yeah? Well, it isn't," I said, thinking of a better comeback than that. "But I still want more. There is more out there, so I want more. That's not too much to ask, is it?" "Sounds a little greedy to me," Silver the sheep said. "But hey, opportunity knocks. Just look at the house in front of you. Perhaps those people will let us in." "They better," I said. "I don't want to be rained on, and seeing the clouds this way, it won't be much longer. Come on, hurry!" When we finally reached the house, we looked at it again. We stopped. We were reluctant to go inside, despite my earlier exhortations of speed. I viewed the monstrous gargoyles on the rooftop, the dragon statue in front of the courtyard, and the spooky steps with carvings of skulls in them. I wasn't too sure anymore if I still wanted to go inside. "Perhaps the owner is a Gothic," Peggy suggested. "A what?" I asked. "A Gothic or Goth. Either way, it's those kinds of people who like scary stuff and who get a kick out of death, black, and purple. I noticed one of the farmer's sons was into that. He was always wearing skull shirts and had some spiky jewelry or necklaces or something." "Ha!" That's all I said. I was still deciding. Then I made up my mind. "Let's just do it," I said. We carefully walked up the stairs. It wasn't easy with the way our feet were built, but we managed to do it within a few minutes, right before the rainstorm started. There we were, standing underneath the shelter in front of the door. We looked behind us. I had never seen so much rain coming down at once. "Wow," I said. "Glad we made it in time." "We can just stay here," Silver said. "Easy for you to say with all that wool," Cassie said. "I'm going to freeze to death if I stay here any longer." "Let's just go inside then," I said. We escaped from the farm to get something better and outrun the storm. Now we have a gigantic mansion in front of us. It will be awesome. I opened the door, and we went inside. Chapter 2. The Mansion. I was the first to enter the hallway, into which our little adventure from the outside world ended. Candles were burning. It looked like the people were home. "Hello!" I shouted, but I was sure that if there had been someone, all they would hear was, "Eeyaw," since they probably wouldn't be able to speak donkey. However, there was nobody there. It was completely deserted, despite the fact that for some reason those candles were burning. I took a closer look at them and paused for a few minutes. The others were checking out the decorative items in the hallway, snooping around in bowls and vases of intricate value. I kept staring at one of the candles, though, being intrigued. "Guys," I said after a while, "this candle isn't burning up. It's like it has an endless supply of wax or something. Isn't that weird?"
"Too weird," Peggy said. "This place gives me the creeps."
"Well, I don't mind it," I said. "It just gives light, better for us. It just means we don't have to try to find our way in the dark here." We went to another room, the dining room. This room was just as impressive as the hallway. The silver cutlery was laid out on the table as if for royalty. The plates were made of gold, and the windows were decorated with velvet curtains. Each window was covered in leaded glass patterns, portraying scary scenarios of lost battlefields, grotesque monsters, and dying heroes. I didn't know if I had to be horrified or amazed. Maybe both.
"This is all very nice," Peggy the pig said, "but I think the real food is in the kitchen."
"I think you're right," I said. "Let's go to the kitchen then." I walked past a painting of some distinguished gentleman who appeared to follow me with his eyes, and I shivered. Then I averted my gaze and looked in front of me. I opened the door to what seemed to be the kitchen and went inside. The others were right behind me. What we saw there was an answer to our secret prayers. Food! Mountains of food! It was everywhere. "Wow," the four of us said. In front of us were the biggest cauliflowers on the planet, huge lettuces, carrots all over the floor, and bags of barley were piled up in the corner.
"Is this heaven?" the pig asked.
"I don't know, but I am digging in," I said. "Hold on, guys," Silver said. "Something is telling me we shouldn't eat this food. What if the people came home?" "It's a haunted house and it's deserted," I said. "Who is going to notice anything is missing? I mean, seriously." "I guess you're right," the sheep said. "I just hope none of this food is cursed or something." "Even if it is cursed, look at all this. Isn't that worth a little curse?" Cassie the cow asked. "Have a good meal. I am done talking." We all attacked the food like ravenous wolves, holding nothing back. Chapter 3. Scary. An hour later, we all laid back on the kitchen floor with bloated stomachs. "Oh, I'm so full," I groaned softly.
"Yes, but it was so good,"
Peggy said. "I could almost just stay here for the rest of my life," I said. "All that food, it was amazing." We were satisfied and we fell asleep, leaning against each other. I didn't remember what I dreamt about, but I woke up with a jolt. An eerie sound was what got my attention. "What was that?" I asked. The others woke up as well. "What was that?" I asked again. "You worry too much," Cassie said. "That's just the wind making the branches tap against the window." Whoosh! But what was that?" I asked after the second scary sound. "Just the wind. You worry way too much, Dirk," Cassie assured me. Bonk! "What was that?" I asked, realizing that the sound came from the hallway. "Oh, something just fell over," Cassie said. The others looked at Cassie.
"But what made it fall over, doofus?"
the pig asked. "That? I don't know," Cassie said with a big grin on her face. "We can go and take a look." "Are you crazy?" Silver asked. "This house is haunted. HOWNTED. We can't go anywhere. We have to stay put." "You were always bad at spelling," I said. "But I still think you're right. It's better to stay here." "And do what? Eat?" Yeah, what else?" But the next sound really made me change my mind. A spooky whisper in the air seemed to penetrate through our very being, assuring us the danger we already suspected. "You will never leave," it said. Was that the wind again?" I asked, feeling the chills on my skin.
"That's it," Peggy said. "Let's get out of here. I am officially spooked out."
We opened the door to the dining room and could not believe what we saw. Chapter 4. Trapped. "What the?" I said. "What happened to the dining room?" We were in a different room, even though I was sure this was the door to the dining room we had come through. We were in a dirty room with broken cupboards on the floor and debris all over the place. On the other side of the room, there was a door. The windows were gone, and it was as if we were in the basement or something.
"Perhaps we were confused, or maybe it's a mirage,"
Peggy suggested. "Well, I don't know," I said. "This is strange. I clearly remember seeing a beautiful dining room in here, because the creepy painting was staring at me." "So what do we do now?" Silver asked. "I'll tell you what we'll do," I said with a determined attitude. "We're just going through that door and going back to the hallway." They all followed me as I stepped over the broken furniture. But when we opened the door to what should have been the hallway, we found ourselves in a small marble room. "How did we end up here?" I asked, after which the door got shut behind our backs. Another door was on the other side. I liked the marble walls, but I was so confused. It was as if the rooms were changing, or as if our minds were playing tricks on us. We tried the next door. When we went through it, we found ourselves in a ballroom with elegant decorations and expensive mirrors on the walls. It was big, and there were 4 other doors that could help us find the way out. "Let's try one door each," I suggested.
"No way," the pig said. "We are not splitting up. That's one of the worst things to do in a situation like this."
"I didn't say we had to go through them," I said. "I just meant opening the doors and seeing which rooms they would lead us to. Then we can choose." "That's an excellent idea, actually," the cow said. "Thanks, Cassie." The 4 of us stood in front of the separate rooms, ready to open them. "When I count to 3, I said. 1, 2, 3, open up!" We opened the doors and our mouths fell open. In front of us were 4 rooms, but the 4 rooms were all the same. It was some kind of hallway, smaller than the previous one, with only a desk and a painting in it, and a door leading to another room. "Are you seeing what I am seeing?" I asked the others. "I think we're all seeing the same room," Silver said. "This is going nowhere. How can all 4 doors lead to the same hallway?" "But maybe it's not the same hallway," I claimed. "Maybe they all just look alike." "Well, whatever they are, I want to get out of there," he said. "I've had it. Can we just leave this creepy place?" "I hope so," I said, secretly doubting if we would ever find the way. Chapter 5. Escaping. "So, which hallway shall we pick, Dirk?" "I guess it doesn't matter since they're all the same," I said. "Let's just go for this one, but let's not split up. Let's definitely not split up." "Agreed," the others said. They were all hiding behind me a little, since I was the biggest animal in the group. Cassie was pretty confident too, but she was putting up a show for the other 2. I saw right through her. She was incredibly scared, but pretending not to be. We walked through the hallway and opened the door at the end of it. It led to another room, a messy attic room or something, with boxes and dusty crates stacked up in the corners. Another door was visible, and we decided to walk towards it. We opened it up and found another room, one with a few tables with candles on it. The creativity and variety of the rooms kept us going for a little while, since we were always curious what was behind the next door. But at the same time, we were tired, and we were tired of it. We didn't want to wander around in this house anymore. We were eager to get out. It took hours and hours of walking from one room to the next to sink in. We were never going to leave this place, no matter how much we wanted to. After the so-manyth room, I finally gave up. I sat down on the floor of what seemed to be some kind of office. The others were exhausted as well and let themselves fall onto the ground.
"We should have stayed in that food room," Peggy said. "Then at least we would have died happily, with full stomachs."
"I'll tell you what we should have done," the sheep said. "We shouldn't have entered this mansion in the first place. I tried to tell you guys, but did you listen?" "Oh, shut up, Silver," I said. "It's not like you were full of brilliant ideas when the storm was chasing us. We didn't know it was going to end this way." "End? End?" Cassie asked. "I don't want my life to end today. I want to get out of here." I know, I said. "I want to leave too, but there seems to be no way out. It's like the house is keeping us hostage, or maybe it's punishing us for eating the food from the kitchen." "I told you we shouldn't have eaten it," the sheep said. Yes, you told us all right," I said. "But are you suggesting a solution? I don't hear you now." "There is no solution," the cow wailed. "All the rooms lead to another room, no matter which door we go through. Each time we go through a door, we end up in another room. Stupid doors!" A light lit up in my mind. What she said gave me an idea. "Wait, Cassie, what did you say?" "You mean the part about there being no solution?" she asked. No, that other part." "Oh, that! Stupid doors!" "No, the part in the middle," I said. Each time we go through a door, we end up in another room. That part?" "Yes. Don't you see, guys?" I said with a smile on my face. "What if we went through the windows? The doors all lead to other rooms. If we try to go through the windows, we might actually be able to leave this mansion."
"Huh," Peggy said. "I never thought of that. Let's give it a try."
"Impossible," Silver said. "They all have bars in front of them. It's like a prison. Besides, there are no windows in this room, dummy. We'll have to go through another door to go to a room with windows." "Then we'll just go through the wall," I said. "Ha ha 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 ha," the others said. They were laughing and rolling over the floor as they watched me get up and close my eyes to concentrate. "I can do this," I said in all seriousness. I breathed in deeply. I kept my eyes closed, trying to focus on walking through the wall. I kept walking and walking, wondering if I was there yet. When I opened my eyes, I found myself in the yard. "Wow! Hey guys, it worked," I said. But I wasn't sure if they could hear me. Either way, I knew they had seen me do it, so I hoped they were smart enough to follow me. I looked behind me and saw them appear one by one, as if they were teleporting away from the mansion. "You are amazing, Dirk," Silver said. "Even I have to admit that. We're finally free." "And the rain stopped," I said. "Let's just go home, guys." "Good idea," they all said. Chapter 6. Dead Horses. We walked through the long, extensive yard that belonged to the haunted mansion, and we only covered about 20 feet when we felt the ground shake a little bit.
What was that?"
Peggy asked. But before I could answer, something climbed out of the ground. It was something we had never seen before. It didn't have any flesh or skin. It simply consisted of bones, and not just any bones. Bones in the shape of a horse. I looked at it. It had green eyes and some kind of green smoke coming from its nose. It looked disturbing and creepy. I wasn't ready to face this creature. It's like a skeleton horse or something," I said. But before I could panic, another one jumped out of the ground and stood next to me, and then a third. 3 skeleton horses were surrounding me, an innocent donkey with a bad heart. "Ah!" I screamed. "Let's get out of here," Cassie yelled. We ran as fast as our legs could carry us. I noticed that Peggy the pig fell behind again, and I went back to get her. I picked her up and put her on my back so she could ride on it. After bending over, I was glad I stepped back because a quick thud splashed the mud in front of me. One of the skeleton horses had attempted to hit me, but had barely missed.
"That was close," Peggy said. "Let's go, Dirk."
I ran and ran, but I have to admit that it wasn't easy in the soggy soil with my thin legs. The skeleton horses didn't seem to have it so easy either, so fortunately, they weren't catching up. We thought we were safe for a while, but then we came to a river. Chapter 7. Almost Drowned. "Let's jump into the river," the sheep suggested. "Yes, let's do that," I confirmed, and I jumped in.
"Whoa, Dirk, I can't swim,"
Peggy shouted. "Then hold on tightly," I shouted back. The sheep and the cow jumped in too, and we watched the riverbank where the 3 skeleton horses were standing, reluctant to come after us. We were glad we got away from them. "Woohoo!" I cheered. "Take that, stupid skeleton horses!" Dirk," the sheep said, "I don't want to be a bother, but did you know there is a waterfall ahead of us?" I turned around and looked. Silver was right. In front of us was a big, giant waterfall, and the current was taking us right to it. I panicked. "Well, what are you waiting for?" I asked. "Let's get to the riverbank." I swam as fast as I could, but I lost Peggy in the process. The others safely reached the shore, but Peggy was drifting away. I felt terribly guilty for not holding on to her enough when I should have, but at that moment there was nothing else I could do about it. "Peggy!" I yelled. "Peggy, swim to the side!" But it was too late. Peggy drifted towards the waterfall and fell down, hundreds of feet down into the water beneath it.
"Wah!"
Peggy screamed. Chapter 8. Life on the Farm. It felt like a hole in my life. It seemed like I lost one of my best friends, and that it was all my fault. I looked at the other 2 farm animals. Their heads were hanging down. "Poor Peggy," the cow said. I didn't know what to say. I stared into the dark of the night and wished I could take back the last few minutes, just to do things over and do it right this time. But it wasn't possible. Time had elapsed, and I hadn't been able to save Peggy from falling. "Let's go see if her body is there, I guess," I said in a sad voice. We descended down the hills. It took quite a while before we reached the bottom. I scanned the surface of the water to see if I could find my pig friend's dead body, assuming she must have hit a rock or something, but there was nothing there. "Peggy!" I yelled.
"Dirk?"
I heard a voice behind me say. We turned around and saw Peggy climb out of the water. "Peggy, you're alive?" I asked.
"Of course, silly. Do you really think a little waterfall can kill me? I just hit the bottom of this lake and drifted up again. I didn't know I had it in me, but I guess I'm not as bad at swimming as I thought at first."
"Wow, it's so good to see you alive again," I said. The others were happy too, and we set out on a course to the farm. We walked and walked for hours on end, and eventually we found it. "It's good to be home," I said as I watched the sun rise up behind our good old farm. "Do you still want more than this?" Silver asked. "No way," I said. "I thought I did, and it was kind of fun and scary at the same time to go on these adventures with you guys, but I am done now. Give me the farmer whistling his annoying tune, this gothic sun who forgets to feed us at times, and the boring, simple view of the meadows. I love it here. I don't need anything else." "You know what, Dirk? I think you've learned your lesson," the wise sheep said. "Ha ha! I think so too, Silver. Home sweet home." The end.